In the shimmering heat of the marina, wealth wasn't just managed, it was performed. And like all mirages, it was beautiful. Back then, we really believed it was flawless. Klaus certainly did. He bought 3 of them that afternoon.
He watched helplessly as the numbers turned red. Billions wiped out in seconds. The automated sell-off cascade.
From glass to sand, from steel to stone, the cycle demands that all things must eventually fall.
The Palm Jumeirah, a monument to excess, now threatened by the pattern. The shadow spreads across the sand. The first weakness is the lack of foundation. Though beautifully carved, it is hollow, and thus crumbles when faced with the slightest pressure.
No independent defense. The illusion of wealth cannot hide the rot beneath. Witness the end of ages, stone ground to dust, a monument to the inevitable decay of all things.
From the shining towers of today to the ruins of the past, history whispers its lessons.
Thus was the Golden Bull delivered, securing the fragile alliance between Byzantium and the Venetian Republic.
The ancient Venetian lagoon, exposed at low tide, is a landscape defined by its harsh emptiness.
The Mediterranean bows to the might of Venice. Forged in timber and iron, her galleys rule the waves.
In the heart of the Serenissima, wealth was power.
This was Venice, the undisputed mistress of the sea.
After 53 days, the siege was broken. The greatest city in the world had fallen.
Across the harbor, the Sultan's chains ensured compliance. The toll was absolute. Venice would pay the price of entry.
Fearing. They called this the Cape of Storms, but for Vasco da Gama, it was the gateway to a new world. The established Mediterranean trade, long dominated by Venice, faced a new reality.
The Thames breathes a cold fog over London, where the wealth of the city is built on the backs of weary.
And like all mirages, it was beautiful. Foresight, not fortune, dictates the fate of empires. This parchment holds the key to Venice's dominance for the next century.
Down the slippery steps they went, the weight of a generation straining their backs, all under the cloak of the Venetian fog. Built on a foundation of sound investment, this estate represents a new era of prosperity, rooted deeply in the rich Tuscan soil. He traded ledgers for loam, finding true wealth not in the market, but in the fertile embrace of the earth itself. History rushes by like the wind. Napoleonic drums fade to the roar of distant tanks.
The illusion of eternity is a comforting lie.
The Barnabotti, once wealthy, now mere shadows of their former selves, clinging to tattered velvet and fading hope. The merchant walks past, oblivious to the nobleman. For in this new age, wealth outweighs lineage. A walking monument to a time long dead, stripped of everything but the tattered memory of his former glory. The mirage had broken. All that remained was the silence and the dust.
The most serene republic ended.
Once the jewel of the Adriatic, the city now choked on its own decay.
Time spares nothing, not even the symbols of power. These golden illusions.
Across the sea, the legendary port of Carthage rises in the golden light. Behold, the Kothan, the heart of the greatest maritime power the world has ever known. This is Carthage at its zenith. Here in the heart of Carthage, men like Hanno built empires not with swords, but with Tyrian purple and gold. The price of defiance is absolute. This silver now belongs to Rome, a mere fraction of the loss you will endure. They called it the tribute of silver, an impossible sum demanded by Rome. Yet, even as they paid,
The silver of Carthage floods our markets, a poison more potent than any army. Our enemy across the sea grows stronger by the day. I say to you, Carthage must be destroyed. Carthage had lost. The terms were absolute, demanding not just submission.
For a man of the sea, exile to the desert is no less than a death sentence.
The enemy is at the gates. We melt our legacy, our history, into the steel that will defend our homes.
The siege is ended. The legions have ensured that Rome's greatest enemy will trouble her no more. These are the pillars of Carthage. Magnificent, yet ultimately worthless. They dissolve, leaving only the foundation behind.
where smoke once choked the sky, now champagne flows. A new era dawns on the Mediterranean. This was the Golden Age, a time when the financial heart of the Middle East beat strongest, and confidence was the currency of the day. They called it the Paris of the Middle East, a city bathed in neon and optimism. But the light was fleeting. From the ashes of the old world, a new financial power emerged from the desert sands, a rapid transfer of wealth and influence.
For 60 years, he saved every pound. Now, because the banks gambled, it is gone.
When the deep freeze takes hold, the assets are paralyzed. The wealth remains secure.
The ledgers hold the wealth, but the bank holds the money.
98% devaluation, a catastrophic freefall that saw the Lebanese pound wither and tear.
He holds what little he could afford, a stark reminder that in this new reality, a day's wage buys only an hour's survival. In those days, the marble halls of Beirut symbolized eternal prosperity, a safe haven for the diligent.
They called it a temporary measure, a necessary stabilization. But for Ahmed and the thousands like him,
in the silence of the grid, we measure time by the fading light of a single flame.
in a city full of like crisis, where lightning vanish overnight, a dance by night.
They stormed the walls, fueled by rage, only to find the coffers long since emptied.
The streets of Beirut in 1980 remain a landscape of ruin and suspicion. Here, control is measured not in miles.
The image breaks, and with it, the gilded illusion of a forgotten time. What remains is only ash.
As the old world crumbles, capital seeks refuge. From the ashes of the past, a new future is constructed in the desert. While others react, we create the future. With infinite upward momentum across the Burj Financial Index, the opportunity has never been clearer. They promise a vision of endless luxury. But the truth, as always, is far more barren.
He had amassed a fortune, but in the face of the inferno, his only currency was escape.
The crash of 2008 left monuments to ambition scattered across the desert sands.
With exposure totaling nearly 10 million dirham, the collapsing valuations list left no room to maneuver.
The terms were severe, the humiliation absolute. With this signature,
At 0400 hours, the drone found its target. The ensuing blast registered seismic shockwaves across the city.
The curriculum continued uninterrupted, a digital sanctuary maintained at great cost, even as the air quality index outside reached fatal levels.
The collapse rippled through the Gulf, erasing billions in moments.
Get out! Sell everything before it hits the floor! We are ruined!
The logistical nightmare in the Gulf intensified as the massive fleet remained completely stranded.
and like all mirages, it was beautiful.
This is the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow channel every day.
The shield was overwhelmed. Despite the desperate efforts of the anti-aircraft batteries and the Patriot missiles, the swarm broke.
While the old world burns, a new one is built on a different foundation.
This is the colossal port of Singapore, where efficiency meets massive scale. A symphony of steel.
Observe the flawless crystal lattice. This level of precision is achieved only through absolute control of the environment.
We don't just predict the market, we shape it. Welcome to the future of sovereign wealth. In the face of the tempest, our spirit remains unbroken.
In the realm of essential medicine, the line between production and service is blurred. It is defined by relentless precision and focus.
Want does not survive. With a final, echoing slam, the guildmaster sealed the rat house, hoping stone and iron could halt the coming plague.
As the golden rays of morning break through the mist, so too does a new age of commerce dawn upon
The port of Hamburg, where the massive scale of modern industry meets the enduring spirit of adaptation. One way leads to dust and ruin, the other, a new horizon. The choice is now yours. They are gone, reduced to ash. But look now, the survivors rise.
A fragile dependency, secured only by glass. When the screen breaks, the true power is revealed.
Gold rusts and jewels can be stolen, but the soil, this.
In a world of shifting values, amid the tectonic tremors of finance and the fleeting promises of digital, the relentless London rain was a small price to pay for certainty.
The city beckons.
The glossy pages promised a future bathed in gold. But outside the penthouse, a different kind of future was brewing.
He stood there, watching the city burn. Everything they had built.
He thought his fortune was modern, but the echoes of past ruin whispered the same tragic tale.
The mainland offered not just sustenance, but security.
A golden age, they called it.
For the desperate, the wealth was frozen. Yet, the currents of history, from Carthage to Robots. In this blinding heat, reality bends. The oasis you see is nothing more than an illusion.
And like all mirages, it was beautiful.
They show you the projections, the endless charts. But I ask you this, does it have weight? Does it endure?
The illusion could not last. Reality asserts itself. And like all mirages, it was beautiful.